Thanks for tuning in to the Halloran Sage interview series. Today I have with me the chair of the Appellate Group, Dan Krisch. Dan, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Nico. Thanks for having me.
So Dan, let's just jump right into it. As the chair of the Appellate Division at Halloran Sage, what does your role entail?
There are three parts to what I do. I work with the other lawyers in the Appellate Group, Logan Carducci, Laura Zano, Mike McPherson, supervise their work, make sure that administratively things are running smoothly. I am in charge of business development for our Appellate Group. About 2/3 of our work most years is generated in-house, but we do a lot of work for outside lawyers, outside clients, insurance companies. So I oversee our business generation efforts, our marketing, our CLE work, and then I have my own appellate practice as well.
Yeah, I want to ask about your appellate practice. You've argued over 100 appeals, ranging from the appellate court to the Supreme Court, both state and federal. Tell me maybe about like a particular appeal that really interests you.
Sure. So without a doubt, the high point for me, at least in terms of emotional involvement, was actually a case that I had as an associate and then a young partner at my old firm, State versus Miranda. So my firm represented a gentleman who had been sentenced to 40 years in jail because his live-in girlfriend had viciously assaulted her infant daughter. This was not his daughter, and he was there and didn't do anything to prevent it. She, by the way, pled guilty and got 7 years in jail. So it's proof once again about the so-called trial tax that criminal lawyers love to talk about. And his former lawyer had some personal issues, and right before the case was going to be argued, the first appeal was going to be argued in the Supreme Court, he vanished. At the time, one of the partners...
Wait, let me stop you right there. Did the attorney vanish?
The attorney vanished, yeah.
Really? Okay, sorry. Continue on.
Yeah, he wasn't going anywhere. But the attorney, he had personal issues, as I said. He vanished. One of the senior partners at my old firm was married to the former chief clerk for the Supreme and Appellate Courts. They needed a good firm to jump in quickly. We did. I got late in the first appeal and then worked on the second appeal and then took the case over. So the first appeal we lost in the Supreme Court. They said that somebody can be convicted of assault by omission, basically, for failing to present harm to somebody. They remanded the case, raised some other issues. Case went up again on appeal as to whether this new definition of assault constituted ex post facto violation, whether he could be constitutionally punished for something that the Supreme Court just explained was a crime. The Supreme Court said yes again, but then remanded the case for resentencing. That's when I took the case over, when basically everything seemed hopeless, and so they gave it to me. We appealed his sentence as unfair, and during the appellate process, the Supreme Court, sua sponte, requested briefs whether or not to reconsider its holding from 6 years ago. That is, could he be convicted of the crime? So we submitted supplemental briefs. The court, in various instances, changed his mind, and I have a picture in my office and a picture in my office at home, only case that I've ever had memorialized, of Mr. Miranda walking out of the courthouse a free man, 6 years into what would have been a 40-year sentence, standing next to me and smiling. It is still it's like a movie script. It's the high point, emotionally, especially for my career. I have handled cases with bigger stakes, maybe, certainly cases with more or even more interesting issues, but that was the high point.